Welcome back again, Idle Friends. Looks like we've got some real interesting developments here tonight. Let's start off with a question. Is one of these 12 the next American Idol? Let's go through each one of them. And let's figure out if we really believe any one of these could be that person. All right? Now, we're going to start on our right there with Stephany. See, once again, for the third show in a row, she's the opening act. Okay, now, what's interesting is the opening spot is usually the kind of like the spot you just don't want to be in because it's the least memorable spot. Well, maybe the second spot is, but people don't remember what you sang like by the end of the show because there's so many changes in emotion and performance qualities that you just forget. So for some reason, the show has been setting up Stephany as the opening act for the last several weeks. I don't know why. Now, she comes out. Well, first of all, let's just look at it this way. Of these 12, if I were to look at this and just say, let's look at this as a casting. How good of a job did they do? Okay. There's a lot of variety in there, right? So did the show do a good job of casting? Okay, you've got the Spanish, the girl from Mexico on the right. The girl behind her is kind of like the urban vibe, kind of soulsy, bluesy girl, singer-songwriter vibe that first show, but her pitch is always all over the place. Okay, we've got the young Thomas kid. Okay, he's the indie, young, good-looking kid, real likable, seems to be real down to earth, but limited skill set, and his guitar playing is very weak. Next, we have Avalon, who has got a great urban feel and sound, but I'm not sure if she's got enough other than she's just got a really good pocket. I mean, I think she'd be good in a girl group or something, but I don't know if she's strong enough to be a soloist. Okay, behind her, Sasser, Jordan Sasser, who I've been really not very impressed with from day one. To me, his voice is all about musical theater. There's no pop in it at all. How he's even on this final 24 is, to me, just, I think the producers needed some surefire people that would get booted off so they can get the people they want in the final 10 or 12. And this guy's like a sitting duck. There's no question he's not going to make it. And, since day one I've felt that. And again, after we talk about his performance tonight, there will be no doubt. Okay, Sonika. And while we're at it, Gianna Isabella and Emily, because all three of them are right there. Okay, let's talk about all three of them because there's some common denominators that they all are in desperate need to fix, or they're not going to go very far. And I'll tell you, let's start with Sonika. Sonika definitely has a very special voice. There's some tenderness and sincerity and just beauty of tone in her voice. But what's interesting is, what I find is, she's still, like, it's kind of like, again, look at her volume levels and intensity levels and her understanding of how to shape a phrase emotionally. I feel she's missing that a lot so far. And tonight, again, we'll critique her singing, but I think that's what you're going to notice is it's really good, but again, does it get there? Gianna Isabella, same thing. It just, can she take it past what we've already seen? I kind of feel like she's running out of gas. She doesn't know what else to show us. And she's restating the same ideas way too much and in the same range, so it gets boring fast. All right, so again, I feel like she needs more skill sets emotionally. She's just singing. She sings her song. She doesn't really still know how to build that emotion throughout the whole story. And Emily, just wrong song, poor arrangement. I thought she was more aware of the game, and she actually broke all the rules tonight about what you shouldn't do. I mean, she committed all the fatal sins. Okay, so, she's my first shoe-in to be gone. And next, well, actually, the three in the back are all gone. James, Jordan, Emily, no question. And probably the girl with the hat in the back, which is kind of interesting that they would stage it that way. Okay, Geneve's definitely not gone. She's going to stay. And again, we'll talk about her specifically in a minute. The real question is, of them, okay, let's just, I don't even have to go that much deeper into this, but let's just say James the Eighth, Emily, Sasser, and Jenna Renae on the right back. Those four are for sure gone. The fifth one is actually a coin flip. Believe it or not, I hate to say this, but I think it's probably between Avalon and Stephany, because I think the other ones are too strong. Okay, the three on the left are for sure going to stay. MacKenzie, Jeneve, LaPortia. Gianna Isabella is strong enough, and she's getting all the hype about her mom, but that's going to run out. She's not going to last very many more weeks, I don't think, if she does make it through here, and I'm pretty sure she'll make it through. Sonika's going to make it through. Avalon, Avalon's really a question mark. I kind of see her as probably making it, but she could be the coin flip. I kind of see it out of her and Stephany. I think Thomas is in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Yeah, it's got to be between those two. Okay, that's my prediction. All right, now let's get into this. Stephany. Now, the thing I want to say about her, I'm just going to say this right now about Stephany. Like a storm in the sky, yeah. I ain't gonna be played by your behavior. How can I trust someone who's lying to me? So big voice, power, but right here, she's already hit her top, and so there's nowhere to take it. So it's just kind of plateaued emotionally. Okay, so the thing about her, she looks really good. As far as if looks were all you needed and performance skills, she's good enough. She's not a great performer, but she's good enough. So the problem is, though, there's something missing in the emotion of her songs. And her big voice just isn't enough. It's like they're too rehearsed. It's almost like, with all due respect, a pageant show performance. It's not a musical performance. And this is where they need to be careful that they don't overreach and lose the music side, the musicality side, because they're so worried about the performance side. And I think that's kind of what Stephany's been going through. Pretty much all of her last few performances have been very similar. So the challenge I see with her is she's not picking it up. She's not taking it to another level. And I don't think that's going to work well for the judges. So again, in my opinion, she's in danger. She's in danger. She could make it through, but I see her being a coin flip. Okay, now, in contrast to this, we look at MacKenzie, and let's talk, there's a few things he does that are way better than everybody else. First of all, just his guitar strumming. It's more intimate. And just the way he's phrasing this emotionally, he's doing a great job. Okay, see, the way that he hit those notes, he hits it with some intensity and grit, so again, it throws out. You feel it hitting you, and then he pulls it right back. Okay, it's kind of like when you're fishing. You know, you throw it, you hook them, and then you let it go a little bit. And there's a little bit of give, and then you reel it in a little bit more, let it go again, reel it in more. That's kind of what he's doing. He does a really good job. So again, the choreography of the arrangement, he does what most of these other people don't do. Okay, now this is where song choice, and see, here's again, this song, there's not a lot to it. It's a simple song, but it's a pulse song. And there is an emotional setup to it. There's an anticipation and expectation, and there are payoffs. And MacKenzie understands that. And so, you know, as he's performing, he's even pitchy there, he's sharp. Can hear he plays the harmony. Sounds great too. I like what he does. So again, he's doing the same thing he's been doing, but he does it really well. And see the way he builds that phrase, his dramatic effects. See, okay, what he's doing right there, let's just give an example of this. I want to listen to this just for a second. Okay, listen to that phrase. That feeling so small. You know, the way he does it? The way he builds it, it's like he fills it up with energy. You know, he doesn't just sing the notes, he fills it up. He like injects emotion into it, and so you feel it. There's a good payoff right there. What he's doing is he's taking these phrases and he's making mini moments within the phrase, right? He's creating noticeable ebb and flow even just between a couple syllables. And then he throws it out and then he brings it right back down. And he's doing a really good job of storytelling. All right, I'm going to move over here just for a second. So, okay, so okay, so again, think about phrasing and shaping. And when the notes are going up, you want to kind of increase the intensity and volume a little bit, or a lot, depending on the song. And this one, it's subtle. You know, this is a subtle pulse. Okay, and the first thing he's doing a really good job of that most people aren't even thinking about is his guitar playing. Okay, he's putting a lot of dynamics in his playing. You know, so you're feeling that subdivision, that and when you subdivide, you know, this is something that really good musicians do, is they feel the pulse in even smaller components than what you're hearing. And by doing that, it kind of gives them more freedom of expression. It's easier to accent different notes, and that's what MacKenzie's doing a really good job of. So I'm harping on this because this is a really, really good example of what I'm talking about, where all of the moments are nines. Even the ones that are kind of out of tune, it doesn't matter because he's really capturing the emotion. And sometimes you can compensate for stuff being a little pitchy. He's doing such a good job of the ebb and flow and really shaping the phrases correctly that it's just working. Okay? So now listen to his guitar again, how much expression there is in the guitar. Say something I want. And anywhere I would follow you. Oh, say something I will from you. Okay, and the reason I'm pointing that out is wait till you hear Thomas Stringfellow's playing. And you'll compare that to MacKenzie's, and you'll see why MacKenzie is just, Thomas Stringfellow's not even in the same league as MacKenzie. He's like MacKenzie probably 5-6 years ago. MacKenzie's 22, Thomas is 17, but unfortunately, it kind of shows. So as a result, I do kind of feel that MacKenzie's really setting the bar that all these other contestants tonight need to learn from. Okay, LaPortia, forget about it. She's in her own category. Everyone can learn from LaPortia. She's got it down. But MacKenzie, as far as really interpreting a song, really connecting to the lyric, I think he does a really good job on this. Okay, so that brings us up to the next contestant, Jeneve. And again, I think she does a really good job with this, but I agree with the things I'm noticing is it's too rushed, it's too fast, and because she's interacting with the harp, it's distracting. And she is connecting well with the lyric, but it would be better if she wasn't playing the harp. So it's cool that she plays all these instruments. It's really cool. And I'd like to hear her play all the other ones too, especially the trumpet. But at the same time, vocally, I'm becoming more and more impressed with her depth. So let's just kind of on the grid, something our next let's figure out. Straight from the Colorado mountains, it's Jeneve Rose Mitchell. Watch. Let's see what she's going to do here.
You have no electricity. You've got to find ways to entertain yourself. So I picked up a couple instruments. Fiddle,
okay, so she plays all these instruments. That's fantastic. Let's just hear her sing.
Second chance for the break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough. And it's hard at the end of the day.
Okay, now I'm buying into her emotion. Okay? The cool thing is she's very expressive. Her opening audition really didn't do her justice. Either that or she's just really growing and stepping it up, and she's just a really fun kid to work with because she's teachable. She seems like she could just be really super teachable, and that's why she's just blossoming. And she's so young, it's going to take her a little bit just to balance out her performances with instruments and that. And, I remember, it's something a lot of these kids aren't used to. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But what I really am impressed with is just the depth of her singing. It's improving, it's getting better. So, there's no question they're going to keep her around. Now, the next issue is Jenna Renae. Okay, let me go back to Jeneve for a minute, though. Okay. Now, Jeneve is overdoing her expressiveness in her phrasing in some ways, but the fact that she's trying, and I don't know who's helping her, if anyone's coaching her, or if she's figuring this out on her own, but I want to give her a lot of credit. The fact that she's paying attention to all the little nuances within the phrases. Again, you're going to find that some of these other contestants are missing this. So MacKenzie, Jeneve, Stephany, like I say, she's got big notes, great sound, but she missed a lot of those runs. She was too soft on the in-between stuff. And this girl has the same problem. It's almost, they're like identical in their skill sets. Different style and look. But see how big her voice sounds? It's like a big Winona Judd type voice. But it gets real. The problem is there's not enough. She doesn't get to the center of the pitch and lock it in. And I mean, she misses the center. It's unpleasant. Like I say, I haven't been impressed with her either since her audition, and she's someone that I pretty much can guarantee you she's gone. You know, if and the fact that there's two Belders.
West. Sure hope so.
The fact that there's two Belders, her and Stephany, they don't need two. Okay, so at least one of the two's gone. And like I say, I don't see. There's 6 people that I think are locks, and out of Avalon and Stephany, that's really the coin flip.
This is James VIII.
Okay, James VIII.
There you go.
Again.
My go-to guitar instance.
Here's the problem with James. Like I say, I like the guy, but he's so out of his league here because he's having fun and he's learning that, hey, if I'm in a band, I can sing. But for the kind of music he's singing, he can. But to be a pop artist, you know, to think that James is a bookend to Kelly Clarkson is kind of insulting to the show producers, that they would even, I mean, to see him not as cannon fodder and as someone that's just going to be one of the 5 eliminated, it's just blatantly obvious. And like I say, I want the guy to do well. He's from my he's from here. He's from Utah. I really want the guy to do well. But there's a lot of stuff he just needs to learn about his tone control and diaphragm support. He's still just kind of putting the same amount of breath into everything, and he doesn't have enough things working for him tool-wise that he's going to have any duration. So I'm telling you right now, he's gone. This is it. His one and only semi-live. He doesn't even... None of those notes are even in tune. Not one of them. You know, he doesn't get to the center of the pitch. He just kind of throws them out there. And the way he does it, they're kind of like licks instead of notes. It's like he gets in the vicinity, but he doesn't finish them. With all due respect, you know, there's no vocal skill there. And again, I'm not sure who thought it was a good idea for him to make it, other than just to be a clear elimination for this round. You know, so the producers knowing more than we knew, you know, it's like, okay, hey, we've got our top 24, but it's really our top 12. We kind of already know what it is. And, you know, yeah, some of these might step it up, but they can kind of tell now. You know, you can tell when you watch rehearsals. You can tell the people who have got enough oomph and have gotten underneath their song enough versus those that are still struggling. You know, you can see it coming. So by rehearsals, the producers are deciding what the order is. And it's obvious why LaPortia is going to be last. It's pretty obvious why Stephany's first. So, anyway, let's look at where this falls with Sonika. Okay, we know the show loves Sonika. She's going to make it through even before she sings. How well does she have to do?
I actually play by ear.
And
Talent for one hidden talent.
okay, now, one thing I want to also bring up right here. Okay, my soapbox, my personal soapbox, is about music education. And one of the things that I've realized after talking to people that have been the in-house music experts for 15, 16 years is the fact that they don't know how to play by ear. And to me, that's a skill that everyone that's learning music should be able to do. Like, you should be able to just think of a song and be able to just sit down and figure it out. And if you can't, well, that's a skill that you need to develop. Because if you don't, you're not a full musician. And I think I've harped on this before. But this also, I think, explains why Sonika has such a pleasant tone and sound to her voice. Okay, again, it's because she's paying attention to more details. She's listening more carefully. And people that play by ear usually do have a better sound and tone, and their ideas have more feeling in them. Okay, check this out. So even though Sonika's got some issues with her performance here, there's a lot of good, but listen, emotionally it doesn't get there. See, that whole phrase, it sounds beautiful, but emotionally, there's, you know, there's a flow to it, and again, I don't know how to sing it, so I'm sorry that I can't give you the perfect example. I could play it better. But if we were to just structure out this phrase,
Here, talent for one hidden talent.
okay, it doesn't get to the right place emotionally. Listen.
Don't you dare look out your window, don't let things on fire.
In other words, like there's a starting point and an ending point, and then there's like this descending pattern, and there needs to be kind of like a little flow to it, and I kind of feel like she left it kind of dead. And that's kind of what she does with a lot of the song. It's like she doesn't get there all the way. So I'm not sure what happens here, because I've given her credit for having a really good ear. But it seems like emotionally, she's still missing about 20% of what needs to be there. So let's see if we can figure this out. See, it was all the same. It was all at the same level, and her voice sounded good, but the emotion wasn't right.
But hold on to this lullaby, even when the music's gone.
See right there? Even when the music, like music, you know, music should be thrown at music, and the music gone. You know, it's like she needs to know when to drive it forward and when to pull it back. And it seems like she's just kind of keeping it all in a neutral zone. So we need that ebb and flow.
Just close your eyes, the sun is going down, you'll be alright, you and I'll be safe.
See, all this, the phrasing is beautiful in some ways, but there's not enough, the shaping dynamically, she's not ebbing and flowing it. It's just kind of hitting a zone, and so without that ebb and flow, her tone and beauty lose its impact. Simple as that. Okay, so again, this isn't a 9. This is like a 7.5 or 8. And especially for her, because of what her standards are that she's already showed us. Okay, so here's an instance where she's got to figure this out. See, all that. Okay, this is an example of it sounds good, but it doesn't feel right. Okay, see if you guys can agree. listen to it a couple times and see if you agree. I'd love feedback on this. Because I really like Sonika. And I think she just doesn't know how to dig deep enough yet. With her, I'd know how to help her. Absolutely. And that is, we just teach her how to dig deeper. Okay, and it's a feeling thing. So we'd go listen to the original, and the original is beautiful, and not because of Taylor Swift's voice as much as the other female on there, Joy. But anyway, I think we should keep an eye on Sonika. She's going to make it through, but she's got to develop that skill or she's in trouble. Okay? Take my word for it on this one.
Just close your
Okay, now, we're going to have the same issue come up here with the next couple girls. Okay, now, one other thing.
I put a spell to help me fall asleep.
Okay, Gianna Isabella, also, her personality, just, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't seem endearing enough. There's something missing. Her story is, being a bookworm. It's just not very interesting. Sorry. So they're having a hard time coming up with a good package for certain contestants, and that's an indication of their personality. I hate to say it, but it may be that they're having a hard time figuring out something interesting. But what I feel with her is the same thing that we just talked about with Sonika. She starts off, and this song, she doesn't connect with it at all. She just kind of performs it, and it's more theatrical.
More about like fairy tales and love stories, and now I'm more like, I love horror books. I love the goriness of it, but I'm not a serial killer. I promise.
Yeah, I don't find that very endearing. And this opening isn't strong enough.
Spell on you. 'Cause you're mine.
It's okay so far, but I don't feel it's deep enough. And this is too mechanical. And the rest of the licks are real mechanical and pitchy. She doesn't even get to the pitch. Okay, so let me just say, I don't really... Same licks. She's doing the same thing over and over. It's more yelling and screaming. It's not sensitivity and control and delicacy. It just doesn't get there.
Over 50 autographs.
Okay, so, Gianna Isabella, I'm afraid that they've hyped her enough that she's not, I see her being hyped up to be through to that top 12, even though I'm not really a huge fan of hers. She doesn't have the depth I'm looking for. There's no way she's going to go far enough. But, they like her and she's young, and, they've got the connection with them all. So I think she's got a stronger chance than Avalon or Stephany. But Emily Brooke is dead meat. I'm sorry, but this was the worst choice. Again, this is an example for anyone that ever is going to try out for an audition needs to watch the next 3, 4, 5 minutes of what I'm going to comment here. Because this is exactly what not to do. Okay, so here's Emily. She comes back a second year. She's learned. Well, what did she learn? Well, she learned that she needed to step up her skill set, and she did, but then she started putting too much of her skills into every song and didn't leave any breathing room. And I'm questioning her song choices, even though I thought, okay, they're going after the kind of better singer than Taylor Swift, cute country girl vibe. And I think that works for her. I don't get this vibe. Okay, first of all, you've only got a minute and a half. So there's only usually 3 parts to a song: the verse, the chorus, and the bridge or pre-chorus or whatever. And not all songs are the same, but again, this is generally. Okay, so in Emily's case, she needs to make sure she picks a song that has some nice melodic hooks in the verse, or such a strong chorus that it doesn't matter what the verse is. Okay, All by Myself, Alone, I Will Always Love You. You know, these are songs that are really good because they have pretty verses and they have nice choruses. Okay, well, listen to what she does with this verse. And then listen when the chorus comes in, it's not very strong. So she wastes both of her opportunities. So this just sounds terrible. This chorus is terrible. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's a lame song. With all respect to the songwriter and whoever thought it was a good song, it's just not. And especially for this kind of show, what was there to show her vocal off? It was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Whoever talked you into singing this song really did you an injustice. I'm sorry. But terrible song choice. And you don't, you know, I can tell you there's something else going on, and maybe you're hating the song and you're just not happy with it. Maybe there was another song you wanted to do and they didn't let you do it. I mean, there could be other factors that come into play that you don't know. All I can say is this was a train wreck. This was terrible. That sounds good, but holding the notes. She's just singing. Oh my gosh, that's just painful. I just feel bad for her.
Range, which isn't the sweetest and most beautiful.
I don't know what was going on there, but like I say, I'd like to know the backstory, because I'm just feeling like that was a disaster.
That was the best song for you. The lower, it played in the lower part of your range, which is
and J-Lo's nailing this.
Beautiful part of your voice.
She's nailing
Always
it.
remember, like in these important, terrible moments where we're about to make huge cuts, to do stuff that really plays to your strengths. You know.
You have to.
That was a fantastic
sell
comment,
those
actually.
Lyrics. You have to make us feel what you're feeling, and I didn't feel it. And I've never heard you have struggled with pitch as much as you just did. Maybe this was a little bit of an off night for you because your talent is unquestionable.
Okay, so bottom line is the judges are hitting it correct.
For me,
With
that
their
song didn't play to all those strengths for you, but what I did like about it is that you're trying, exploring, and looking for more.
Okay, bottom line is she's history. That was an irrecoverable train wreck. So, you know, she's absolutely a shoo-in to be gone. It doesn't. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, I'm basing all my judgments on just the solo nights. My honest opinion, the duets are just for show. They don't even matter. I think everyone's decisions are already made. You know, the judges are already pretty sure who they want through, and they've talked. See, this is really. Let me just say something I don't like. This is really not a good thing, where the judges are now picking the top 10 or 12. You know, that's what I'm saying. I think they already had this figured out. I mean, it's pretty obvious who the top 8 or 10 are. Okay, and when you see next week's, just think who's left. Okay, we're seeing a lot in this show who are really good, but do any of them look like the next idol? That's the question. Who stands out? Okay, there's only 3 here that I think have a chance to even be in the running, but I still don't see them necessarily being the next idol, because we've had some other people similar that just haven't done well. That's MacKenzie and LaPortia, first of all. And then Jeneve. You know, Geneve's really interesting. And I could see her going top 3 You know, and if she keeps growing, who knows? There's a possibility, as strange as that sounds. But there's no way she's getting eliminated right now. So, let's figure out what else.
No makeup. Saves me a couple hours in the morning. Baggy
Okay,
clothes.
Avalon's got her vibe, but I think it's wearing thin. And to do a Justin Bieber song that's a 3 notes with a 5th note.
You think I'm crying on my own life.
For
And I didn't want to write a song, 'cause I didn't.
there's 5 notes. Five notes. What's she thinking? Okay, the song choice alone makes me question that she doesn't understand the game. And she's got a really good pocket, a really good feel, so she does an okay job on this, but even some of the notes, she doesn't get there all the way. I'm not feeling her making it very far. I don't think she's got enough depth yet as a musician. You know, what she's got is cool and vibey, but it's still really young and immature as a musician. So again, she's the coin flip for me. I like her feel and pocket. She's kind of like a Tori Kelly, okay? But she's not as good as Tori Kelly. Not even close. But that's her sound and vibe, and I like it, but I still look at her as being kind of an 8. An 8 out of, you know, here, let's look at it this way. What performances have been consistently in the 9 range? Okay, who's done that consistently? And I don't know if anyone besides MacKenzie and LaPortia. You know, Jeneve, I think you could argue that she may, because I think her emotional maturity is really outshowing the other younger contestants. Like, that's where Jeneve is in a whole different league from, say, Gianna Isabella. Because Gianna Isabella still isn't feeling the adult feelings yet. She still sounds like a young kid that's just got a big voice. And Sonika is still making me feel that she's younger musically than I thought she might be. So she may not be ready either on maturity level. So, this brings us to one of my favorite persons to just...
But I am the biggest turtle lover on the planet. Turtle.
And now he's into turtles.
I have a turtle
Okay.
visor.
This guy's just not endearing.
And then I have little turtle statues.
It's like, if you didn't see the guy's wife and kid, I'm sorry, this guy just comes across as like a theater guy that's kind of a diva. And he's just not endearing, and he doesn't seem very smiley and happy. He kind of generates this negative intensity. And then when he performs, that's exactly what I feel. This is such a diva performance, and it's offensive to me. It's like, where does this guy think he is? I hate to say this, but you know what this reminds me of? This performance reminds me of these, I don't even know what to call them, but they were like singing shows that when we lived in Florida, there was this lady in Miami that would put on these shows, and the people that would come participate in them acted like they were like full-blown artists. And they'd come in, you know, they'd dress the part, and, you know, she made it a big deal. You know, they'd have lighting, and she'd dress up really nice. All the women dressed up in elegant dresses, and guys dressed up nice. I mean, it was like, it was showy. It was a Spanish thing, so it was kind of that. But all of the performances were over the top. And most of them, it's almost like they were bringing the wrong skill set. It was almost like, hey, we're having a 50s dinner, and people show up in Renaissance costumes. It's like you're bringing the completely wrong sound and toolkit to the table. And that's what this guy does.
And when I dial the telephone,
it's, what is he trying to prove here? I don't get it.
Nobody's home.
And it's way too slow and painful. And now this. That was the most unpleasant sound. Bye. I mean, I hate to say, that's like, listen, that sounds like a sheep or a goat. Listen. I'm not trying to be rude. Just, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to be rude, but listen. That's kind of what a sheep sounds like, people. See, here's what it is. Okay, the tone of his voice, when he goes for those overtones, he's only getting the scratchy, unpleasant part of it. He's not maintaining the roundness and the beautiful part of the tone. It's like that all disappears, and he's left with just the extra stuff that doesn't sound musical. But this is terrible. Okay, it's like this guy's been dreaming his whole life that he could sing that song in front of a huge audience. But this is the same guy that, said that he saw that first season and wanted to, said, I'm going to win this show someday. This guy's cheesy, I'm sorry. Again, I just have to shoot straight. I don't like to be rude, but I got to shoot straight. I just really don't enjoy this guy singing at all. And him and Emily.
Don't offer it, or it's too expensive.
I'd say him, Emily, and James VIII are just so blatantly cannon fodder. It's really sad.
Not us.
And Emily didn't need to
Introducing
be.
the best data plan ever.
But she kind of made herself into one. She just blew her opportunity. Sorry. She's still really good, but it's amazing that you have to have a combination of skills to do well on these shows. Because it's not even just picking a song. Sometimes they'll pick a good song, but they do a really terrible arrangement of it. I remember hearing songs that were continually edited. The contestants weren't happy with the edits. And I remember thinking, wow, yeah, there's something awkward about this. And I remember thinking it through, and it's like, oh, wow, they cut out this, and they should have cut that out. And it's like, who missed that? And see, when you're doing an edit, it's still it's just that. It's an edit, so it's subjective. Not everyone's going to agree that this is the best edit for this song. That all by myself was just a disaster. I felt nothing from his performance. It was just like a spectacle. And I felt really bad because he picked the spot of somebody else that might have been good. That's the thing that's sad for me. All right, now Thomas.
Dad's had a lot of trouble with her parents. Give me something.
Okay. Last time I got on him a little bit because he was overdoing his dramatic effects, and I still feel the same thing. He's got a few little dramatic effects or skills that he puts into his songs, but there's still too much missing. Okay, and it starts with his guitar strumming. He gets too loud and it just stays there, and he doesn't know how to build the ebb and flow into his strumming. His singing is okay, and it's interesting, and I'll give him some credit for making the attempt at the song. But if you look at him and MacKenzie, listen to them right after one another. and it's night and day. You know, Thomas just is still way too young, and I don't think he's going to go very far, even though he's probably going to make it through this. But okay, now I do like that he's trying to put emotion and feeling into his song, but he's using that cry thing. It's like with that Joshua Vicker guy did that first audition that everyone liked so much, and it's what Jenn Blosil does. You know, it's that crackly cry indie sound, and the problem is he's going to run out where that's going to become old. Like a fake girl in a beautiful world. Oh, it's so very special. I wish I'm not sure I'm into that spatial. You know, I know that's a current kind of trendy thing now, is that you really overpronounce certain vowels, but to me it's not needed. I don't like it. It doesn't sound good to me. Just stay special. Stretch out, you know, you can stretch it out without making it kind of weird. It's my opinion, okay? But his strumming is terrible. It's too strong. Like I say, I'll give the kid credit. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff he's doing in there, but it just still sounds a little young. You know, so again, he's not going to make it all the way, but I see him making it through this. Okay, let's move right along, because we know what's coming next. And LaPortia just blows it out of the park. Okay, you hear that? that big wheel keep on turning. Just listen to that and look at where she goes from soft to intense, and her control of the dynamics and the intensity, and you know, the notches on her volume. You know, she's got 10 easy, and it's easy for her to switch back and forth. So the way she constructs her stories, you know, she's building in the emotion brilliantly. And because she's got 1 to 10, and a lot of these other contestants like Sonika and Gianna Isabella, they only have like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 notches on their dial. And so everything's staying in that same limited range, whereas the Porsche's using the full range of her volume and intensity knob. So imagine if you've got 10 different intervals to choose from instead of 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's what MacKenzie's doing a better job of. Even Jeneve is doing a better job of. That's what Sonika needs to do a better job of. That's what Gianna Isabella needs to do a better job of. If Stephany survives, if Avalon survives, they're the 2 bubble people for me. But again, let's go back to where we were, just in a final close. Okay, I predict with almost certainty that 4 of the 5, you know, James VIII, no question he's gone. Emily Brooke, no question she's going to be gone after that performance. I don't know if they can redeem themselves in a duet performance. I really don't think so. I think we've seen enough. The judges have seen enough. I think they've already made their decisions. All right, so I will be back. I'm going to see if tonight, with the longer episode, the duet one, I'm going to see if I can do it the same night and have this up first thing tomorrow morning. Okay, no promise yet, but I'm going to try it and see if I can do that. Tonight I may have time to do it. So I'm going to try to get these up quicker, but at least here we go for our first final countdown. The first half with a strange configuration of a lot of girls and not as many guys. So we'll see what happens next week. Okay, real quick before I do end it, let's just do a quick review of these first 12, and I'm going to give you who I think are my locks and who I think are the locks to stay and the locks to go. Okay, let's just go left to right. MacKenzie's a lock-in, Geneva's a lock-in, LaPortia is a lock-in. No question. Those three are locks. Okay, they might be the first three names called. Okay, James VIII is out for sure. Emily is out for sure. Jordan is out for sure. And Jenna Renae on the back is out for sure. So 4 of the 5 are very obvious. The 5th one I'm still going to say coin flip. You know, I think if we look at pecking order, Thomas is in. The judges definitely like him. In my opinion, Thomas is not as near as strong as MacKenzie, and because of that, he's not going to last as long as MacKenzie. But I do see, of the 3 remaining people, which are Gianna Isabella, you know, Sonika's a lock. You know, she's another one. Even though her performances are still not where they need to be, she's a lock. And I think from there, Gianna Isabella is stronger than Avalon. And Stephany and Avalon are the coin flip. But I think because the judges have been more picking apart Stephany, I think, and the fact that she's been the leading, she's the first position. That person just, they're a sitting duck. They usually go. You don't want to be the opener. So I'm going to give the nod to Avalon to stay and Stephany to go. So that would be my prediction for the first elimination of the first wave. And we'll see how the second wave goes. Now, my final prediction is that nothing's going to save these people. The duets aren't going to make a bit of difference. The decisions, I think, are already made. So, with that being said, I'll look forward to another review later tonight, and hopefully up in time for first thing in the morning. I'll see how quick I can get them up. Again, thank you for your support. I'm looking for more questions, more feedback. Please give that if you can. And at the same time, I'm going to be setting up my website with some more resources and information for those that just want to learn more about music and get better at it. And as well as, I'm going to be launching my actual workshop and mentoring program within the next couple weeks. And, so those of you that may know people that want to get better at music, it's going to start with an assessment and just figuring out where people are at. And that's one thing that I realized, my experience has put me in a unique position to be able to help people with that. So I'll give you some more info on that as we get closer to it. Thanks again for your support. Please send me some feedback and questions. And good luck, everybody, on your predictions for who the final top 12 will be. Talk to you tomorrow.